guys, welcome to today's video called Chasing the Pump. Basically, in this video, I'm just gonna try to tell you all the tips and tricks and things that I know to make you get a better pump, because I get this all the time. People are always asking me how to increase the pump and whatnot. I even got it asked yesterday in a comment, so I knew I had to make this video. So this is just gonna cover all the factors that go into getting a good pump when you're getting a workout in. But wait, before we do that, cue the explosion noise. I have a huge announcement for Beyond the Week. We're doing custom prints, 2 t-shirts for $30. Now what I mean by custom prints is that I have 3 different colors, right? Red, blue, and green gray available on the website, but there are actually over 20 different flavors, as I like to call them, of t-shirts. So what I'm gonna do is the first link below in the description is a link to the manufacturer's website. Then you can look at all the different colors that are available and see if you like them. If you do, on my website, beyondtheweek.com, www.beyondtheweek.com, there will be a product called 2 for $30 custom t-shirts. Basically what you're gonna get with this package is you're gonna get a custom choose what t-shirt colors you want. You can have 2 different colors obviously because there's 2 different shirts. And you're gonna choose what ink color you want. You can either have black ink or white ink, and it's gonna be the new Beyond the Ink design. So you're gonna choose the color of the t-shirt and the color of the ink for a pretty awesome selection of different things. And you know that yours is gonna be very unique because not a lot of, actually, probably you'll have the only one that is yours. Like, there might not be anyone that buys the same one as you. But if anyone does, it will only be like 1 or 2 other people. So you can take pride that you have something very unique. Anyways, while you're checking out, there will be a little notes section. And in that notes section, you need to do this. This is imperative. It's the most important part of this. You have to tell me what size shirts you want. There's 2, right? And what color you want each shirt to be. And that's simply it. And finally, my favorite part, all US shipping is completely free and all worldwide, anywhere. Don't even ask. Anywhere, wherever you live right now, $7. Now in total this is going to take about 2 to 3 weeks because I'm going to put the order in on Saturday of next week, and it's going to take about 4 or 5 days to get to me, and then I'll have to set up the screens and print them and process them and do all those cool things on the back end to get them to you. Now let's go on to chasing the pump. Now I want to mention just for fun that I recorded this entire video, uploaded it to my computer, and then found out that the microphone for some reason was not recording. I fixed that, so we're getting past that. But I just thought it was really funny. Now, you want to get a good pump, so how do you make that happen? Well, let's start from the very beginning. Before we do anything else, let's talk about supplements. I feel like that's the thing that people think about the most when they think of a pump. So let's get those out of the way. If you're gonna take supplements to increase your pump, to increase your nitric oxide and the amount of blood that gorges into your muscles, the best ones to take are citrulline malate, arginine, and agmatine. Any one of those 3 will increase your amount of pump during your workout significantly, but if you want to, you can take 2 of those or even 3, but I feel like it's a little bit of overkill and you're probably just spending a little bit too much money, so I would suggest just 1 or 2, but those will help increase your pump. Now let's move on to one of the most important factors of getting a good pump. Water. You have to be well hydrated, because think about it. Your blood is made up mostly of water, so if you don't have a lot of water in your blood, it's getting thick. It won't be able to move into your muscles easy. You won't have as much blood volume, so you won't be able to gorge your muscles and still do the other parts of your body. You know, still have blood in your body and enough for your muscles. So what you need to do is drink water before your workout. I suggest about 40 ounces. That's my magic number, 40 ounces before your workout. It doesn't matter if you're working out right after you wake up or if you're going and working out at the end of the day, as long as you're getting 40 ounces before you work out, minimum. I'd say, like, you know, probably about an hour and a half, an hour before your workout, get those 40 ounces in, and it's gonna make sure that you're hydrated. Also, during your workout, a lot of people don't realize this, you sweat a lot. If you sweat a lot like me, you can sweat about 30, 40 ounces in a workout. Or if you sweat a little bit less, you're still sweating like a whole water bottle. So make sure that you're hydrating during your workout. When I start a workout and I don't feel the pump and I'm just like, why am I not getting a pump? I'll immediately, I always do this, I always know what it is. I'll go chug 2 full water bottles. It's like about 40 ounces or so, it's like 36 ounces. And I will go through my next 3 or 4 sets and start getting a pump immediately. I'm telling you, water is really important. Now, just like water, food is also very important too, because if you don't have enough carbohydrates, then you're not gonna have enough glycogen in your muscles. And if you don't have enough glycogen in your muscles, you're not gonna get as good of a pump. So if you want to be as optimal as possible, that's what we're talking about, right? We're getting the best pump possible. I would say, you know, get at least like 45 to 70 grams of carbs. You know, obviously you can do more if you want to, before your workout, at least an hour before, so you can digest it. Give yourself time to digest. It's really important to do that. And that'll really help you increase your pump. Now, let's move on to the actual workout. What I like to do before I actually start a set of something is just without any weight at all, go through the motion of the exercise I'm about to do. And when I come to the top of that motion, when I finish the concentric portion of that motion, I squeeze whatever that muscle is. So if I'm doing the bench, I squeeze my pecs, or if I'm doing a seated cable row, I'll squeeze my lats. And by doing this, I'm propriocepting myself. I'm figuring out where I need to pull my hands, where I need to pull my elbows, where my back needs to be, where everything needs to be positioned for me to feel that engagement in my lats the best. So right there, you're figuring out your form, and then you move on to a little bit of weight. You start with, very little, 30% of your max, and you just feel it out again. The same thing, but now with weight. And then you move up again. You do it probably, I'd say 2 to 3 warm-up sets are good. And during these sets, make sure that you're not messing around, you're not playing with your friends, you're squeezing, you're feeling, you're realizing where it is, because then when you are doing your first work set, hopefully you've propriocepted your form, you have it all down and correct, and now you can squeeze, you can pull, you can do it all exactly the same as you did from the very beginning when you had no weight all the way up until you started your first work set. Now when you're actually doing your work sets, make sure not to go too heavy. It's not a powerlifting competition. Just because the guy who's been lifting for longer than you, or your friend who's stronger than you, is lifting more than you, doesn't mean you have to stay up with them. It doesn't matter. You should develop your muscle better instead of trying to ego lift. So what I'm saying is use a weight that you can control, and I'd say the best pumping range, rep range, is probably between 8 and 14 reps for myself. That's what I've discovered. And when you're doing your work set, you really want to concentrate on squeezing the muscle, of course, like I was saying, and at the top of the motion, give it a little pause. I always like to say give it a little pause, because then you're stopping the momentum. A lot of people, when they do a rowing motion or really any exercise, they use a lot of momentum because they don't stop and feel the muscle control it. If you stop at the top of a seated cable row, you'll feel your lats take control, and then you can very slowly go into the eccentric, the negative portion of the lift. The negative portion of your lift is the part that you're going to get the most pump from. So make sure you're using a weight that you can control nice and slow, nice and very slow, and feel that muscle, hold it and engage it, and try to fire those muscles. And as you get better at this, you're going to get a better pump. And another little tip I can give you is that if you're going to do some new exercises in a workout, some exercises that you haven't mastered, that you're not so comfortable with, I would always say start with at least one exercise that you are just mastered. You've done it, you know it, you're really good at it, and you can feel the pump every time you do it. Start with that exercise first so you can feel the pump, get whatever muscle it is engaged so you know where it is, where it is in space and how to contract it already, and then move on to your second, whatever unfamiliar exercise it is that you're gonna do. Because when I do that, I now have a pump started, so when I'm doing that uncomfortable exercise, I immediately fall into the right form, because then I know where the pec is, because it's bigger, it's more sensitive to being, contracted correctly. This one's gonna sound a little weird, but do some aerobic activity. Do at least 2 or 3 workouts a week where you're doing 10 to 20 minutes of just medium pace cardio. Doing this is gonna recruit alveoli in your lungs, and alveoli are what they extract oxygen out of air. So if you have more of these alveoli, you can take more oxygen in per breath, meaning that when you're doing weight training sets, you can last longer, you can endure longer in that set because you have more oxygen coming into your lungs and thus your muscles as well. Something else that is very, very important is the time that you take between sets, your rest periods. Now, a lot of people will talk to me and be like, I don't take long rest periods. I take 45 seconds or a minute or something like that. But then I see them, and it takes them 2 minutes to walk to the water fountain, or they'll be talking to their buddy for a couple minutes because he spotted them, or he's on Instagram or changing a song. Anything can distract you, but taking a longer rest period than you are supposed to have is going to take away from your pump. You're going to lose your pump and your focus, and in turn losing your focus is going to make it so you can't get back in your pump. So the best amount of time to take for a rest set, a rest period, if you're doing more hypertrophy, if you're going about 10 to 16, then I would stick with about 45 seconds to a minute and 15 seconds. So 45 to 75 seconds. Now if you're doing really strong, heavy stuff, then you're not going to be able to do these short rest sets. You're going to have to take 2 or 3 minutes, which means that you may or may not get as good of a pump. But we're talking about getting a good pump, right? So we're doing, 8 or 10 to 16 reps. We're going very quickly, and you have to make sure that your rest sets are really seriously like a minute or less. You have to like think about that, make sure that you're not going over it, because the longer you give your muscles to sit there and rest, the more blood is coming out and degorging. Is that a word? Who cares? It is now. Hashtag degorging out of your muscles. So you're losing that blood, and then your muscles are losing that pump. So keep it very quick and keep your muscles getting smashed in the face with weights. And the final thing that I want to talk about is intensity. Now, a lot of people tell me that like they don't understand why they're not progressing, why they can't get a good pump, why they can't push more weight, or why they aren't bigger, or why like I'm so much bigger after they've lifted the same amount of time as me. Intensity. Intensity is so important. So many people think they are being intense, they think they have intensity, but they're not comfortable with themselves or comfortable in public or whatever it is to go 100%. You have to be extremely intense to progress, because what progression is it's progressive overload. You have to convince your body that it needs to get better to handle the tasks that you're giving it. You know, you have to challenge it. And if you're not being intense, then you're doing what you're comfortable with. And if you're comfortable with it, then your body's not going to change anything, because it can already handle it perfectly fine. You guys see my like imploding faces and like drenched in sweat like clothes after I work out. I'm very intense. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, my way of lifting is better than someone else's. You can be intense and you can be quiet. You know, maybe you don't sweat as much as I do. That's perfectly fine. I'm just saying I go as hard as I can every single time I work out, and because I'm going as hard as I can, because I'm pushing to failure and trying to, you know, push a heavier weight than I'm used to, when I'm trying to push into the pain, you know, I'm feeling the pain and I'm going further into it. That's what intensity is. When I do that, I get the best pumps, I get the best workouts. When I'm focused and I know what my goal is and I just smash it as hard as I can, those are the days that I get the best pumps. So seriously guys, you gotta kick your intensity up. You have to check yourself, maybe see if you are being intense, and then try to kick it up a couple notches. Woo! There we go, guys. There's the video recorded for the second time, seen for the first time by you. I hope you guys enjoyed chasing the pump. My insight, my advice on getting a good pump, I hope it will help you guys out. And honestly, I'd really appreciate if you guys would try it out. Go to your gym, try it out, try some of these tips out, and see if it gets you a good pump. And then come back and comment and let me know, because like that's really important to me actually. Like, you know, getting feedback from these advice videos that I give, that makes me want to make more of them. So I'd really appreciate if you guys would, you know, test it out and leave comments below. Also, like the video if you have not liked the video, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. P.S. Tim Tubby Tits, what size, what color, what ink? I'm gonna send you a custom t-shirt, baby. Team Beyond the Week, lift heavy, or die mighty.